All right, well, we have more breaking news now. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying the Russian army has begun its offensive to take control of eastern Ukraine. Zelensky posting a video on Instagram less than an hour ago saying Ukraine is ready to defend itself. Washington correspondent Kellie Meyer live at the Pentagon and joined live by Pentagon press spokesperson John Kirby. Kellie.
Hey, Nichole, we are here with Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby. Thank you for joining us. We want to ask you about this breaking news. Ukrainian President Zelensky saying that Russia has begun their offensive in the east. What is the Pentagon assessing?
Well, we certainly know that the Russian forces have been trying to regroup there in the east to reinforce their presence, bringing in what we call enablers, command and control, helicopters, artillery, that kind of thing. And we have seen active combat over the course of just the last couple of days. So obviously President Zelensky is there on the ground. He certainly can see things that we can't. But we do assess that there has been active fighting in the Donbas in the east, and that the Russians continue to try to reinforce and strengthen their position for possible future and even more aggressive offensive operations.
And here at the briefing today, you did touch on that they are learning from their lessons, the mistakes that they made in the north. What are you seeing?
Well, we think they're trying to learn some of those lessons. I mean, you can see that they're moving in logistics and sustainment capabilities in advance of bringing in even more troops. That's not what they did when they went after Kyiv. They put the troops in first, and then they expected the food and the fuel and the spare parts to kind of follow them in. So they're sort of pre-staging that kind of thing. They've assigned a new commander to run the whole operation. Now, this is a general who was in the command of the South. He's a 4-star. And so we think that that's an effort by them to do better at command and control, unity of effort, which they did not have when they were operating in the north over the last few weeks. So they've made a few adjustments that make it appear to us that they're trying to overcome the challenges they've had in the past. But I'll tell you, too soon to tell. I mean, it doesn't mean that they've fixed all their logistics problems. It doesn't mean that they've integrated air and ground operations to a fare thee well. So it remains to be seen how much of this effort is actually going to bear fruit for the Russians.
From the intelligence you're seeing come in, what can you share of what this fight in the east is going to look like, and any sense of how long this could go on for? No sense that
we know specifically how long it's going to go, but this is terrain that both sides know well. They've been fighting over it for 8 years. It's open terrain. It's been described to me as a bit like Kansas, flat and open. So it's not going to lend itself to the same kinds of tactics that either side used in Kyiv or in Chernihiv up in the north. Not as hilly, not as forested, not as urban. So we can expect that this is the kind of fighting that would lend itself well to armored and mechanized forces moving in fairly big formation, certainly going to rely heavily on artillery, which is why President Biden, when he authorized the latest $800 million, made sure that there were howitzers and artillery rounds as a part of that package. And we hope to be getting those over there very, very soon. So I think you're going to see a more reliance on what we call long-range fires because it is so open and flat ground.
I was going to ask you about those weapon shipments. Are those howitzers in already? I know you say these go in every 24 hours, these shipments.
So as you know, the president authorized $800 million on Wednesday. By Friday, the very first shipment started heading over to the theater. We're being careful about what we're saying on each shipment, but I can tell you that those howitzers will be arriving soon. We've sourced them. We know where we're going to get them from. They're going to come from the United States. We're getting them ready for shipment right now. They should be arriving very, very soon. And we are also working on making sure that the Ukrainians know how to use them. They're artillery pieces. They know how to use artillery, but they've never trained on the howitzers. So we're setting up with our partners in the region a way to train some trainers to get some Ukrainians to get more up to speed on how to use the howitzers so that they can go back and train their teammates.
That's what I was going to ask you, what that looks like. U.S. troop involvement not going to be in Ukraine itself. It'll be outside the region.
Whatever training we'll be doing on the howitzers, or frankly, anything else that we send over there that might need a little training, that'll be done outside of Ukraine.
And, will President Biden, does he have any plans of going to Ukraine?
Well, I won't speak for the president or his travel schedule. I have no trips to talk to today, even from the Defense Department. But look, our focus here is very, very much on making sure that Ukraine is getting these weapons and systems as fast as possible, because there is a fight coming in the Donbas. It may, in fact, have already started, according to President Zelensky, and we don't know how long it's going to be, but we think it could potentially be bloody, and it could potentially be prolonged.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.